Hello and welcome to another Platinum Trophy. Today we're here with Grind Survivors, another survivor roguelike type game. Our last one, Ball Pit. This one is more of the traditional style, more of the vampire survivors style. And as you can see here, we're in the thick of it. I thought I'd get straight into the gameplay. So our first trophy, Education 1, is pretty simple. That's for reaching level 5. Skipping ahead a little bit here. The first couple trophies will come really easily. Picking up the magnet. Always love the magnet in these type of games. Although we're quite early in the level, so we didn't get too much XP. But just coming up here is level 10. And that will earn our next trophy, Education 2. There we go. Just sharing a little bit of the gameplay here as we go. So some fun facts about Grind Survivors trophies while we've got a little bit of time here as I'm going through the different menus. So there is 71 trophies in total, including the Platinum Trophy. All 70 trophies are a lazy bronze. And yeah, so just getting into it. So this game, essentially to get the Platinum Trophy, you have to complete everything. You have to do a bit of grinding, of course. You have to kill 100,000 people or 100,000 enemies with each weapon and each ability. I believe there's 4 from memory. So we got Education 3 here. That's for reaching level 15. This is still the first run, by the way. And then fast forwarding to the boss of the first run. So I was able to make it here in the... Well, no, it's not the first time because I have a blue weapon up in the top right-hand corner. It's been a while since I played this one, but this would be the fight where I finally do beat the boss. So for beating the boss, you get a trophy. You get a trophy for finishing all the bosses and all the difficulties, surviving endless for a little bit of time, and then just doing a bit of misc things. So it's a real full complete platinum for this game, as most of these type of games are. You know, you got to complete the game and do everything sort of platinums. The platinums I sort of like. So I'm 300% speed there, just going through the boss of the first area, and there we go, getting our Burned Forest 1 trophy for completing the Burned Forest on difficulty 1. Then just roaming around. I included most of the end screens here just so you can have a fun look at the stats. 12 minutes, 2,000 enemies killed. So yeah. Next trophy, Wormhole. That's for reaching 20 meters of range. So the range is the bullets, how far the bullets travel, essentially. Next trophy there, Immortal. That one's one of the misc trophies. That's for killing 1,000 enemies while being at 1 HP. Another misc trophy is destroying an uncleaned altar with an arena. So if you're near any of the bonus arenas that you see on the map, they give you bonus stats. You can see the little icons floating around the map when a boss spawns. Unfortunately, that does get rid of the arena, so you got to be a little bit careful. Sorry, it doesn't get rid of the arena, it gets rid of the altar, so you got to be a little bit careful in that regards. So that one was actually a fail. We failed that boss, but we did get to level 20, which gave us the Education 4 trophy. Moving on to the next one is a grind trophy, so SMG Mastery. That's for killing 10,000 enemies with the SMG. All the other weapons need 100,000 enemies, and the SMG just needs 10. Chain Killer, that's another misc trophy. That's for killing 200 enemies without reloading. Going through these ones quickly until we get to a boss, of course, and then I like to show the full boss in full speed, of course. So there's 4 different elements in this game. So you have ice, you have fire, you have electricity, and then you have like curse damage. You get the Mage Trophy for picking all 4 of those different skill trees in one single match. And then Infinite Bullets, that is for reaching 7 bounces. So when it hits an enemy, it bounces 7 more times after hitting that enemy, the bullet. Quite useful. Bounce is one of the key criteria in sort of how to increase your damage, essentially, especially on the later levels where you have a million enemies on the screen, essentially. So our next trophy, so those ones are all very quick misc trophies. Our next one is another misc trophy. This one's for picking up 10,000 ashes in a match. So ashes are, it's not the little crystals you see around the map. The ashes are actually for finishing off the bosses. They drop ashes, they drop crystals, they drop weapons. The ashes are used to re-roll weapons, essentially, increase the stats of the weapons. So you can see here, we get the Burned Forest 2 trophy and then 10,000 ashes at the same time. Moving on is Masochist Trophy. So this one is another one of our misc trophies coming up. just shortly, the end screen here, after beating the main boss. So the Masochist trophy, this one's for, it's a pretty simple one. It's pretty unmissable. It's for losing 100 HP essentially, which is something I do quite often. I lose a lot of HP in games like this. Lucky Shot, that's the purple orbs you see on the ground. That's for getting a 100% guarantee rate on drop for those ones. You can see there, I just accidentally carked it. But we did end up with the Lucky Shot trophy and the Soul Harvester trophy. So the Lucky Shot, that's for reaching a chance of dropping purple orbs at 100%. Soul Harvester, that's for gaining 15 shields in a single match. Phoenix, which came really quickly, 20 million fire damage for Phoenix. Revolver Mastery, 10,000 kills for the Revolver Allied. The Revolver is also 10,000 kills, but the other weapons are all 100,000. Another boss here. All the bosses are the same on the levels. When you go to a new area, the boss changes, but they stay relatively the same in all the different difficulties. They just either deal a little bit more damage or have a little bit more health. So back here on 300%, and yeah, you can see here, just going through the boss, got a decent amount of health in the top left corner, got the shield going. It's always good to have a shield. It's just a bonus life that sort of restores itself essentially. And there we go, defeating the boss gives us the Burn Forest 3 trophy. So 20 trophies down at the moment. Going through these ones really quickly, they do slow down a little bit towards the end, a little bit more. It's always tough at the beginning when it just goes pop, pop, pop with all the easy trophies, but you can see here we're slowing it down a little bit more now. Back into the Eel trophy, that's for getting 20 million electric damage. And then Heavy Arsenal, that's for reaching 10 projectiles. So, for example, Shotgun, that basically starts with 10 projectiles, but yeah, every projectile is essentially an extra bullet that the gun shoots. Inferno, that's for reaching 200 million fire damage. From memory, it's about 200 billion for the final trophy, but we'll get that really quickly in the later difficulties with the fully upgraded fire. And that's not an issue at all. So here at another boss, just going through the motions here. You can see those little arrows at the bottom there, 4 dashes. So I was deliberately trying to go for the long jump trophy. That's for using the dash 333 times in a single match. So every time you unlock a trophy as well, you can see on the right hand side it's tracking something. Every time you unlock a trophy, it unlocks like a new ability, a new skill, or a new weapon, or new something. Usually the weapons are for completing the maps. So Burn Forest 4, that's for defeating or completing the Burn Forest in difficulty 4. So yeah, you unlock new weapons by completing the maps. You unlock new abilities and skills and things like that by completing the miscellaneous sort of trophies and in-game achievements. So our next one here is for tricks, for killing a troll with a bullet that bounced in him. So essentially, like I said before, you know, bullets bounce around and you just killed him with a bullet that was bouncing. Witch, that's for doing 20 million curse damage. Speeding up here on the final boss, well technically the final boss of the last difficulty on the Burn Forest. You have endless mode after this, but endless mode is the exact same difficulty as difficulty 5, just obviously endless instead of, you know, 25 minutes that the normal mode is. So on 350% speed here, you can see some of these bosses, it's just really a kiting exercise. So Burn Forest 5, finishing Burn Forest 5 in defeating difficulty 5 in the Burn Forest, sorry, I should say. On to our new map. So it's always exciting to get a new map. Quickly into a trophy though. Tesla Boy, that's for doing 200 million electric damage. It's my favorite type of the curses, followed up by fire. Penguin, that's for dealing 20 million shield damage. I always like to have 2 of the abilities at once. Speed of Light, that's for reaching 13 meters a second. Always like to move around as quick as possible because you can gather more abilities and more skills and things like that on the map, more XP quickly. So this is the first time we see the boss, giant flying bat. Not too hard, another kiting exercise essentially. We're going to go through a couple bosses really quickly. So this is the Bastion map on difficulty 1. You can see here I'm just using the Tesla gun. just sort of keep my distance, dodging, have a high dodge rate, so I don't really need to do too much. And then there we go, Bastion 1 for completing difficulty 1 in Bastion. And then I gained a few extra skill orbs at the end of the game. You can see those fire things there, they're basically the equivalent of ashes. They're not ashes, it's just what the boss spawns, but that's sort of what they look like on the map. And like I said just before, going through a couple of bosses really quickly, this is Bastion 2. I found the first couple levels of the Bastion to be quite easy, so I was able to sort of go through those relatively quickly, back to back. And that's what happens with the new areas. You're sort of able to go through them back to back, and then you sort of hit a wall and have to grind out a little bit. So our next trophy, Bastion 2, that's for defeating difficulty 2 in Bastion. So I've got the end screen coming up here, and we've got another sort of magic mastery trophy, so dealing some 200 million in chill damage. So chill damage it's a good, to be honest, all the abilities are pretty good, but I just have favorites. Fire and electricity just do way more damage than chill and curse. Chill's still pretty good, it slows enemies down, it freezes them, so that gives us the Ice Age trophy, 200 mil chill damage. Our next trophy, Cascade Awakening. That's for killing 100,000 enemies during a bullet storm. So the bullet storm is the ability that the character I'm using has. It just essentially shoots faster. Is the thick of it. And yeah, we got 100,000 enemies. The first 100,000. So there we go. I've got to do that with the rest of the abilities. Our next trophy here is for 100,000 enemies with the Tesla gun. There we go, Tesla gun mastery. You can't even really, the range on the Tesla gun, you can't even really see the enemies I'm hitting off the screen there. That's how much range I have on the Tesla gun at the moment. And then our next trophy is Wrath. So that's for striking Bulldor with a lightning bolt 1,000 times. So this boss here is the Bulldor. I did not know this when I was doing this boss, but it is this boss, and you get a trophy for essentially striking him with 100,000 lightning bolts. There we go, the Wrath trophy for doing exactly that. And then we're doing a little bit of a speed up here, going through the rest of the boss. So this is difficulty 3 in Bastion, so we'll get once we finish the boss, we'll get the difficulty 3 Bastion trophy. Slowing it down here as we're just finishing the boss off, and there we go, Bastion 3. Taking a little bit to get to the end screen here, but as promised, the end screen, just quickly. Our next trophy is for piercing 50 enemies with a single projectile. So this is the new ability. Each 2 hearts of health gives you one of those, like, I don't know, they call them spears. They shoot off, and once you get to the later levels, you know, all the enemies are there. It's pretty easy to get 50 enemies with a single projectile, and that gave us the spear trophy. So back to more Bastion bosses. Sort of skipped through this one. We've been at this one for a long time. Using the laser rifle here, as you can see, a couple of extra projectiles, but defeating the boss in Bastion difficulty 4 gives us the Bastion 4 trophy. Divine Loop is for restoring an ability in 1 second. So that's the spear I'm using. Has a cooldown. The spear naturally has a low cooldown, and it's pretty easy to increase that. So it's basically just shooting all the time. It gets pretty crazy in some of the later levels that we'll see, to be honest. So in the final difficulty of Bastion now, difficulty 5. Like I said, there's obviously still Endless that we haven't tackled yet, but we've got the trophy for finishing difficulty 5 in Bastion. And then because I've used all the different abilities all at the same time sort of thing, our next trophy is for dealing 200 million curse damage. So obviously, like I said, curse is my least favorite, so that's why it's the last. So that's for the Dark Arts trophy. You can see here I'm trying to do some Endless in the first area, the Burned Forest. Our next trophy, Tank, that's for reaching 25 HP, which is quite easy, to be honest. You get an ability that basically doubles your health. Laser Mastery, like I said, we're using the laser gun, or the laser launcher as it's called, so it's for killing 100,000 enemies, the laser launcher. Just speeding up a little bit here, because we get another trophy just shortly after. Literally 1 minute and 9 seconds after, according to my list. But in the video, it's about 15 seconds. So this is for surviving 40 minutes in the burned forest. You can see the spear is just like, it's just launching out. Luckily, you do not have to beat the boss at the end of the 40 minutes. You just have to survive the 40 minutes. And that gives us the Infinity 1 trophy. So you can see on the right there, the tracker that was going on. That's Pyromaniac. That's for getting 2 billion fire damage. So you can see that fire was actually the first one, not electricity. But yeah, fire and electricity is the way to go, in my opinion. So we're in Scorched Grounds now, which is the final difficulty area. The most annoying as well. The boss just likes to sit outside the arena. It's super annoying. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But that's for Scorched Grounds 1, for beating difficulty 1 in Scorched Grounds. And like I said before, a couple back-to-back. This is for defeating Scorched Grounds in difficulty 2, which earns us Scorched Grounds 2, coincidentally. Our next trophy, Quad Barrel, is for, essentially, it's a bit of a luck one. To be honest, I don't even know what the enemy quad barrels are, or double barrels are, but it's essentially those big enemies, I believe. It's for killing 4 of them at the exact same time. How on earth we got it, why we got it, don't ask me, but we got it, essentially. So quad barrel, it's for killing 4 double barrels at the same time. Pretty useful, pretty cool. This next one was really annoying. I hated the charge ability is good, but killing with the charge ability is very, very annoying. So I went to the easiest difficulty I could. That still has a lot of enemies, but decent health. And essentially just built a charge build and grinded out 5,000 kills with the charge ability. Super annoying. Hated it every step of the way. Probably one of the worst trophies, to be honest. There's a couple that we have to grind out, but that one was just annoying. So you can see here that the worm just tunnels underground, sits outside the arena, so you got to get really close to it. Doesn't sit in the middle. So you got to get to basically the edge of the arena, which covers off, it's like a compromised wall, right? It covers off one of your escape routes. You can only go left, right, or down, or you know, at this stage, left, right, or down. So difficulty 3, completing that gives us the Scorched Ground 3 trophy. We're getting towards the end of the game here. Obviously, you can see here we're at 52 trophies out of 71. Our next trophy, Thor, that's for dealing 2 billion electric damage. You can see here that, you know, the electric abilities sort of hit everything. It's really good. So that's Thor, dealing 2 billion electric damage. Our next one, Chill Guy, that's for dealing 2 billion chill damage. So you can see the big 3, chill, fire, and electricity. They were the first 3 to obviously go through. We don't get the curse one for a little bit later. But I was just showing most of the boss here. You can see he likes to stick at the edge. He puts up a shield as well, which is super annoying. Had some undodgeable attacks, which is also super annoying. And yeah, it's not a fun boss. So we get the Scorched Grounds 5 trophy there. Now our next trophy is a weapon trophy. So just going to the end screen here. Weapon trophies. This is for... Oh, no, my apologies. We're back to the chill trophy. In a little bit of a wrong order here. My apologies for that. You can see the tracker on the right-hand side there. Just going through the motions. Luckily, the enemies keep spawning here. So what you can do with this boss is essentially just stand in the middle if you have a high enough dodge and basically just grind out enemies. We have to do that with the elites later, those guys with the shields walking around. And then we get the Scorched Grounds 5 trophy. So that's for completing Scorched Grounds difficulty 5. So we've completed all the main difficulties now. We just have Infinity mode left and a couple of sort of random trophies, I suppose, that didn't get along the way. So Witch Dance. So we got Shotgun Mastery here. Sorry, Witch Dance was on the tracker. So we got Shotgun Mastery here. That's for killing 100,000 enemies with the shotgun. You can see the spear, right? It gets pretty crazy. So Witch Doctor, that's for doing 2 billion curse damage. You can see, look how crazy it gets when the enemies actually spawn. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. It's a number of different sort of special abilities you need to get with this one. One is for essentially bullets will appear on the other side of the screen. So, and then it hits another enemy and it bounces, and it's just there's a lot of craziness going on. There's a lot of craziness. And would you believe you can still fail very, very easily with this build? So Infinity 2 for getting 40 minutes in the Bastion Infinity mode, which wasn't too difficult with that build. This map was a real headache. It took ages even with that build. Like I said, you can still fail with it. So Fire with Fire is killing 1,000 mortars with explosions. Solera Awakening, that's for killing 1,000 enemies with the railgun. Cartridge, that's for reaching 200 ammo. So using a high ammo count weapon, so the assault rifles and things like that start at about 180. So you can easily just bump that up as you go through Infinity mode. Going through some more weapons here, we're doing Assault Rifle Mastery here on the right. Like I said before, just grinding those ones out. 100,000 kills for Assault Rifle Mastery for that one. Our next trophy is I like to do the hard trophies as soon as possible. That means I can just sort of relax on some of the easier ones and just sort of kick my feet up. So Infinity 3 for finally beating Scorched Grounds Infinity mode, well, essentially getting to 40 minutes on the Scorched Grounds Infinity mode. So I was able to finally finish that one. It took ages, but we finally did it. Riven Awakening, that's for killing 100,000 enemies during the Berserk mode, which is another one of the special abilities. Shield Breaker, that's for breaking 5,000 enemy shields, so those big elite guys. Another super annoying trophy to grind out, to be honest. An easy trophy, Sword Mastery, killing 100,000 enemies with the sword. Sword is my favorite weapon, but, you know, it is what it is. I have to play every weapon. Hell on Earth, that's for letting the Hellweaver burn to the ground. So the boss in the first area, you got to kill him with fire damage. Took a couple tries to get that one, but we got it in the end. I basically had to avoid attacking him and just sort of let the fire damage do it. The worst weapon in the game, the Saw Launcher, 100,000 kills with that one. And then we're coming up to our final trophy, Vanatar Awakening, which is killing 100,000 enemies with the last ability, Almighty Push, which gives us our Platinum Trophy for Grind Survivors, which was a grind. It was fun for 99% of it. I enjoyed it. Hopefully there's some DLC. There's a tab on the main screen that says additional content. You click on it, there's nothing there. There's nothing in the PlayStation Store, but I assume there's something coming soon. So you can see down there, 36 hours, so decent amount of time to get the Platinum Trophy. Dollar cost average is pretty good on this one. I had fun. Like I said, like the title says of the game, it's Grind Survivors. You know, you can grind out a Platinum Trophy. If you like Vampire Survivors, you're probably going to like this one. It's not as good as Vampire Survivors, I'll be honest. It's not as good, but it's still a fun game. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next Platinum Trophy, and don't forget to drop down below in the comments what Platinum Trophy you'd like to see next. Thank you.